actually a really good friend of mine who his dad farmed up on the Cache River, and his property always got flooded. He actually hated Dad when all the fight was going on and stopping the channelization because it wasn't going to stop the flooding of the fields. But later on, even he realized what it was really all about and changed his mind.
If it wasn't for Rex, he would have lost Arkansas duck hunting as we know it.
There were a lot of farmers that were against it.
They were going to build ditches or large channels. He could see the agricultural benefit, but he saw the cultural importance of what these river bottoms really mean to people.
You can't replace a 100-year-old cypress tree. They're gone. I won't see a replacement in my life.
Rex came to Arkansas from dental school, and he ended up in Huntsville, next door to Orville Faubus, who was governor. And when Orville was gone, Rex would tend to his dogs, and when Rex was gone, Orville would tend to his dogs. They bird hunted. That just wasn't adventurous enough, so he decided to come down to the rice and duck capital. So the rest is history.
You know, Daddy was one of two dentists in town for a long time, so we knew everybody. You know, growing up in our household, there was never a dull moment.
It was chaos. You know, there was 5 kids running around. There was an older sister, myself, my brother Brian, a twin sister, then brother Brian, and then baby Hannah.
Chick Major gave all of our children a duck call when they were born, each one. And I let them teeth on it. I thought that was wonderful. Oh, Chick was so upset because Brian took to it and Brian really teethed on it. The boys did the hunting, and they started at 3. A friend of ours who had acreage and who had a duck club, Daniel Boone Bullock, would carry one of the boys on his shoulders, and Rex would carry the other one, and they would go in.
Dad started off at a very young age, so he started Brian and I off at a very young age. I went on my first trip when I was 4 years old, killed my first one flying when I was 5. Thank God back in the day that the hunting was so fantastic. It was just phenomenal of the way that it was back then. Oh, Gil got that one. I was shooting behind him.
So the Cache River is a 213-mile treasure that begins in northeast Arkansas, southeast Missouri. It's a tributary of the White River. It meanders through northeast Arkansas, where it eventually joins the White River in Clarendon.
This part of the world drains over 70% of the continental U.S. The water drains into this part of the world right here, and so all these little tributaries and channels off of the Mississippi River, everything drains into that and into the basin. The waterway itself is really critical for moving water, for retaining nutrients and those sorts of things that wetlands do. And so the water runs down the pipe. When the rivers come up, it floods into the trees until the river comes back down. The water comes back into the river and diverges down the river system there.
The Flood Control Act was basically going to take the Cache River and it was going to deepen it. The primary motivation for doing that was to create more farmland. And so more farmland and less flooding and more predictability for farmers is a very important thing and a very good thing. Rex had the vision and the foresight to see what waterfowling hunting meant to the state's identity.
some men from Clarendon called him and said, "We need your help." And so they proceeded to tell him what was going on. The big crane was down there and they were dredging it. And he said, "I'll be there. Let's call a meeting." Every time he said anything, they booed him because the Corps had stocked the room with people.
Rex had a reputation for being kind and polite, but tenacious when he got a hold of something.
The Corps didn't stop. They worked day and night at first because they thought they had to get this done. They saw a man that was going to give them trouble.
He got people upset, he got people's attention, and he got people organized, and basically began a political campaign within Arkansas with our congressional delegation to change people's minds and to change the Army Corps of Engineers' course of action.
The Citizens Committee to Save the Cache was started to do exactly that. He needed help and they needed funds. And so letters were written, children folded them, licked the envelopes and put stamps on it.
It doesn't matter if it was to organizations or to political people or groups, whatever. I mean, it was just stacks and stacks of letters and envelopes that we were folding stuff and licking so he could mail.
And he just got it done. He'd call the president if he needed to talk to him. And he said God did not want it changed. If he had wanted it the way they were doing it, he would have done that to begin with.
Can't not think about it when you're on it. When you sit there and you think how one man can start stirring up enough talk and discussion to get a whole bunch of people involved to stop the channelization, to stop the destruction of this flyway.
He successfully led for 17 years the Citizens Committee to halt the channelization and drainage of the Cache River and the Bayou de View, thereby conserving these valuable waterfowl habitats for eventual formation of the National Wildlife Refuge on the Cache River.
You leave the White River, out of Clarendon, and you jump on the Cache, and and then it just kind of comes like a straight ditch. You don't realize what you're in. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a ditch. There's nothing special or pretty or anything else about it.
How do you ever get it back, right? I mean, even this bottom and hardwood stuff, there's so much effort into restoring bottom and hardwood systems and planting more trees and rolling all this land in easements the best we can to protect it. But how do we ever build, a naturally occurring, like a natural system? We've done the damage to ourselves in terms of the health of these systems, and we're human trying to put it back together.
Of course, as kids, we didn't think about it, the significance of it until
Later on in life.
Till later on, and you start realizing really what was happening.
Yeah, it just wasn't for the Cache River. It's for, you look at all the major duck clubs in Arkansas County that are reaping the benefits of the flyway still being there. Without that, they just bypass us on.
Dad never made a big deal about a lot of things. When he was fighting the Corps, he was fighting it for a purpose, and he wasn't doing it to glorify himself.
I mean, hell, he spent my inheritance fighting. All of our inheritance fighting.
He fought for everyone in this whole area, not just for me, not for my brother, he fought for everyone to keep this ground.
Conservation needs more than lip service, more than professionals. It needs ordinary people with extraordinary desire, common man with uncommon goals and dedication.